So, is that the best idea? Here now, Utah Senator Mike Lee. He's also author of Written Out of History, which we strongly recommend. Senator Lee, thank you for joining us here. Mike and I are friends. The senator and I actually both having represented the state of Utah. But Senator, thank you for joining us here. Is Mitch McConnell right? I mean, I was a bit critical of the majority leader for not voting on the House bill that did pass with border wall funding of $5 billion. But what's the right answer?
Yeah, look, I'd rather vote. Whenever the question is, should we vote or not, I err on the side of saying, let's cast a vote. Sometimes there's a good reason to cast a vote, even if you're not sure that it's going to pass. Sometimes setting the record for who is where on that vote is helpful. And it moves the legislative process forward. And I think it would help us end the shutdown faster.
Yeah, no, I concur, because I really do think what's frustrating to me is they never vote. And so you don't see who's actually on the record here. But how are you going to get past this impasse? I mean, Nancy Pelosi's been off working on her hula, and now she's the speaker, and the House is adjourned until Tuesday. They're not even coming back till Tuesday.
Look, if you don't want to fight fires, don't become a firefighter. If you don't want to take difficult votes, don't become a lawmaker. That's the message we've got to send to Congress.
So, but how are we going to actually solve this border wall? Nancy Pelosi is emphatic. She says absolutely no money for the wall. Are there other alternatives, or is the president and the Republicans in the Senate just going to hold the line on this?
Look, I think the Democrats are being categorically unreasonable in this. We already have 650 miles of border fence. 650 miles. Now, are the Democrats saying we got to tear that down? No. Are they saying that there's something inherently evil about the would-be 651st mile? No. We're talking about a number that's infinitesimally small compared to the overall budget. We're not even talking about 1% of the federal budget, or even 1/2 of 1%. This is necessary to keep our country safe, to protect our border. We need to do it.
But can you get to are there enough Democrats? At some point, there'd be some breaking point. I mean, I think most Americans don't even know that we're in a shutdown because they don't feel the effects of it. The normal pinch points of veterans, our military, Social Security, all of that is open and running. So I don't even know if Americans necessarily even notice it. I know it's hard on the federal workers who expect and deserve their paychecks. Right. But are there Democrats that will eventually get to this point?
I think there are. And the reason I say that is that most of the Democrats I talk to in the House and in the Senate are not themselves that offended by the idea of spending money on a fence to protect our border. Most of them acknowledge this is not a big deal. And so I don't know why they're spending so much political capital on making sure that we can't make the American people safe with a fence.
The Senate is, I mean, obviously with the 2020 election, how much of a distraction is this going to be? Because so many of your colleagues, they all look in the mirror and they don't see themselves as a senator. They see the next president of the United States.
That's right. They say when a senator looks in the mirror, he or she sees a president. It doesn't have that effect on me, but apparently a lot of other people do have that reaction. Look, there's no question about it. This is going to be a three-ring circus. But we are familiar with ring circuses like this in the Senate. I saw it a few years ago when all of my Republican colleagues and half of my Democratic colleagues were running for president at the same time. We're gearing up for the same thing in 2020, just on the Democratic side.
Yeah, no, listen, Senator, you got your hands full. I think this shutdown is obviously something that's going to be on the top of everybody's mind. But I just don't understand how the Democrats on day one, 4 hours into office, they decide in the House, hey, we're going to go into recess. We're not coming back till Tuesday. And that they sent over a bill now to the Senate that doesn't have even a dime for border wall funding.
Yeah, it's silly. It's petulant. And I call upon them to reconsider what they've done, to reconsider the fact that in the past, for 20 years now, Congress has been calling on our federal government to make sure that we protect our border. Yeah. This is a step necessary to do that. They've voted for more funding than this in the past, and they need to give us this funding now.
They're authorizing bills. The Senate authorized this fence. Now they won't fund it. And it's something that is totally disingenuous to not also step up to the line and define what border security is. Senator, thank you so much for joining us.